Hello, friends. Welcome into New Orleans Saints Now. I am Tom Downey. Fresh off a win, we're going to break down all the latest on the New Orleans Saints, who, as crazy as things sound, are still alive, unlikely as you would think it, in the playoff race. They are still alive in the NFC South playoff race, entering Week 17, but they do need some help. There is a very, very convoluted wild card scenario still for the Saints, in which they win out and everyone kind of loses games around them. That's probably not what's going to happen there. They are the last team alive still at this point. The Falcons are now out of it thanks to their loss. The Bucs, which would have been helpful if they had lost that game against Arizona. It's actually a rather simple scenario for the Bucs, or I should say the Saints, to make the postseason. 2 steps. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lose out, in which they lose to both the Panthers this Sunday and then the Falcons in the final game of the season, which isn't that likely. And then the Saints beat the Eagles, and they take down the Carolina Panthers. That's the only realistic scenario there is. Again, that convoluted wild card one in which every team loses games. It's just not going to happen. There's just no way. This is your path. Win out, Bucs lose out, and if they had just closed out that game against Brady earlier in the year. Now, if the Saints get knocked out, you can still give the Eagles a later pick by trying to win that Week 18 football game, but you're still alive. You would like to try to make the postseason, especially for Dennis Allen's own job security. Are you going to make it happen? Be honest, no, probably not. But go try to win football games. There's no benefit to the Saints tanking or losing out. It doesn't help your coaching staff. Doesn't help your important draft status in round one. You move down 8 spots, whatever it ends up being in the second round. That doesn't change things all that matter. Go win these football games. That's what they need to try to find a way to do at this point. So if you want to fire up the Saints, help send some good vibes out there, type in Who Dat in the comment section for me right now and get them fired up. It'll be the pinned comment, by the way, on today's video. While you're down there, make sure you guys are subscribed. News, rumors, live watch parties led by my boy producer Trace, and more. Hit that subscribe button for free right now. Let's move to the latest on one Sean Payton, who will eventually, I suspect, give the Saints a nice little draft pick back wherever he ends up going. Latest report is that Sean Payton is eyeing Vic Fangio, the longtime NFL defensive coordinator, for his return to the NFL. He was fired as the Denver Broncos head coach, 19-30, who, of course, they just fired Nathaniel Hackett today, which wasn't a huge surprise. He was pretty bad there. He's currently a consultant for the Eagles. This is I'm just going to wait to get my next head coaching job, more or less there. Some teams to consider for Sean Payton. Now, Carolina, Indy, and Denver have already fired their head coaches. It's reasonable to see a scenario in which Houston does the same. I don't think Sean Payton wants that gig. Arizona's one to monitor here. A lot of reports that, that relationship is working out with Cliff Kingsbury. Does Sean Payton want to coach Kyler Murray? He's going to be the most coveted head coach out there, even though you have to trade for him. It would make sense if he loves Kyler Murray to go take that job. Tennessee's job is potentially going to be open. That'd be a bit of a surprise there. I think Mike Vrabel's maximized that roster. I would say the 2 teams to really monitor here, Arizona's the 3rd because he's not going to Denver. Who wants to coach Russ? I mean, if you get ethered by Patrick Starr, a cartoon character, I think you should have to retire. I think those should be the rules. The Chargers and the Cowboys, though, are the 2 teams I'm going to keep an eye out for. Because L.A., if they miss the playoffs or go one and done, they might fire Brandon Staley. And wouldn't Sean Payton love to coach Justin Herbert? That's a job I know he'd love. And, of course, Payton and Dallas have been linked for a decade now at this point. And if they go one and done, I would not be surprised if they fire Mike McCarthy. I know Sean Payton loves Dak Prescott, maybe not quite to the same extent as Justin Herbert, given youth and age and contract and just pure arm talent. But those are the 2 jobs I think you're keeping an eye out for. On the flip side for the Saints, Pete Carmichael is not doing a great job. Turns out when you lose Sean Payton, your offense isn't as good, and Pete Carmichael getting his first chance as the full-fledged, unencumbered, uninfluenced offensive coordinator, play caller, has not been doing a great job. I know that producer Trace hates
Can't stand him.
Every day, fire Dennis Allen. He hates him. They are fighting at least for him. And I know even Trace will give him that credit there. They're fighting hard down the stretch. Now, I do believe that fighting for your coach is the minimum you should expect out of him. That alone is not enough to keep your job. If they're not fighting for you, then you have to be fired. I went through a long time of, they're fighting for Jason Garrett. Okay, they're not winning, so who cares? Like, that is the baseline, not the maximum you should be expecting. Like, you should expect the minimum your team to fight for you. Denver was not fighting for Nathaniel Hackett. They were fighting each other. That's why he's gone. So, maybe it's Dennis Allen. Maybe it's bringing back Sean Payton. Who do you want as the Saints head coach next offseason? Sound off. Make those predictions for me in the comment section right now. We'll bring on producer Trace. Trace, who do you want as head coach for the Saints?
I love DeMeco Ryans. I'm a big DeMeco fan. I really think that he would be a great addition to the Saints staff. He's done a great job with the young talent out in San Francisco. I also like Shane Steichen. He's a pretty solid one, but how could you say no to bringing back Sean Payton if he wants to come home? How could you say no?
I wonder if Sean ends up saying no in that scenario, but hey, I appreciate that. All right, today's show, we got a special deal for you guys. Maybe you didn't get what you wanted for Christmas. Stinks, but that's okay. Saints hoodies are on sale. Chatsports.com/Saints hoodie. Check it out. It's in the comments section and the description of today's video. Chatsports.com/Saints hoodie. Yeah, comments, description. Check it out today. Week 16 game balls. All right, Trace, giving the first one to Alvin Kamara.
Yep, I liked what Alvin Kamara was able to do this week. He showed a lot of pop. He showed a lot of something. He was able to kind of get a little bit of dominance back on the field. The numbers aren't all that great, but considering the temperature, how slow the offenses were, and just how slow both teams moved, it was not bad.
I also didn't tell you my cousin was at that game. I have family up in Cleveland, and they went to the game, which I thought was a questionable life choice. But
dude. I mean, it was so cold, man.
They're Browns fans, and they lost, which made me laugh.
Yeah, well, and I think I saw the final, whenever it was at kickoff, the temperature was like -20 or it felt like -15 or -20. Unreal. But then second batch, Dan Sorensen, Alontae Taylor. This is one that I was actually like, am I really about to talk about Dan Sorensen on this show? I am, because Dan the man got a pick. He did something, and it's all because Alontae Taylor had a nice little tip drill, hit the ball up and stuff. But Dan Sorensen, 7 tackles, 1 interception, was actually a pretty big proponent of the defense. Did a lot, and then Alontae Taylor, 6 tackles in that pass breakup, which inevitably led to that interception. And then finally, the Stormin' Mormon, Taysom Hill. How could you? I mean, him. He's so good. I love Taysom Hill. I will live and die by this statement. He's not a quarterback, but he's a football player. Yeah, he's a great football player. He can do it all. Just don't have him run the offense as a quarterback. Have him do it as, a running back-ish.
The package player is the term I use.
Exactly, yeah. But 9 carries, 56 yards, a touchdown, and 6.2 yards per carry. Pretty solid. You can't ask for much more. But then an absolute honorable mention to Malcolm Roach, because I don't know if y'all got to see this. I tweeted about this, and it's kind of going viral. So Malcolm Roach right here, you can see him. Dan Sorensen picked the ball off. They're running down the field. Malcolm Roach is about to just absolutely lay the wood on Deshaun Watson right here. Mm-hmm. Pretty funny. Gotta love it. You gotta love seeing that happen.
It's the old everybody like that meme, right?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Everyone knows it.
Played great. I don't care what Petey says. Has not played well since he came back. Averaging a touchdown per game is not exactly good.
For sure.
Those were our game balls. Who is your biggest MVP from Week 16? Could be a player or even a coach if you want to go that route. Head down to the comment section. Drop your Week 16 MVP right now.